Very good afternoon to you, and welcome to the second session of your industrial week, where Mr. Bhatia will talk about the current trends in the corporate world. So, if I introduce Mr. Bhatia to you very briefly, he's the current assistant manager of employee engagement and transformation at the Diesel and Motor Engineering PLC, DMO. And you met Mr. Naveen this morning, also from DMO. So, Mr. Bhatia has worked at Demo for a number of years, but I think he has also worked closely with many other organizations throughout his career, and that's why I believe that Mr. Bhatia is one of the best people to inform you, or rather to sort of make you familiar with the present day trends of the corporate world. So, he works, I believe, hands on with many individuals coming from many different walks of life, especially in the corporate workforce, and one thing that I noticed while I was going through his CV is that he has been able to, in my opinion at least, has been able to come a long way in a relatively short period of time. Almost in a relatively short period of time. So, his experience, because of that, I feel like will be immensely sort of helpful for you as an undergraduate to sort of formulate your years in the corporate world. So without much ado, because we have to have the Q&A session as well, and we have very limited time, I would like to invite Mr. Bhatia to commence your session.
Thank you, Ashani. I hope I'm audible,
Yep.
visible, and my slides also can be seen, is it? Perfect, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right. First of all, thank you very much for the faculty for this opportunity. I was in fact writing to Dr. Lekambi as well. I think, this is one of the best ways we can give back to the places we came from, right? Because we are, personally, I also learned at the University of Colombo, and I know what you all are going through. I know what you all feel, and I know the challenges sometimes you may feel when it comes to when you think about the corporate world, right? So I believe you all are in the final year. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Ravindu, Ashani?
Yes.
Fantastic. Even better. Right, nice. So now the first thing, when you all move into the university from the school, see, even before that, right, when we go to school, what our parents usually say is, get the exams done, get through your O levels, get through your A levels, and get into university, and then your life will be sorted, isn't it? Podi kale, our parents used to say, puta O level karagana, A level karagana, then wagi campus ekata gaya nan jeevithe hari. Right, so we come to the university thinking that our lives are sorted once or since we are in the university now. Then when you face semester exams, when you face assignments, when you face others, maybe vivas, different kinds of challenges in the uni life, you do realize that it's not the end of everything. Your life is not sorted yet, right? Then the next step you usually see or feel or hear is, you think, or someone will tell you, don't worry, get the university degree done, and get through your exams well, get graduated, and then your life will be sorted. Find a proper job, then your life will be sorted, right? So that's the next usual immediate dream we or you all have when you are in the university. Well, it's not entirely wrong, but if you or if anyone thinks that your life is sorted once your university education is completed, I'm sorry to disappoint you all. I'm here to tell you that it is not. All right. Let's look at why and how we can work and all that. But I just wanted to tell you that before we start off, පටන් ගද්දිම මට මේක කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් clarify කරන්න ඕනේ වුණා. Because usually අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවා යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ ඩිග්‍රී එක ගත්තම එහෙම නැත්නම් හොඳ ජොබ් එකක් හොයාගත්තම අපේ ජීවිතේ sorted, එහෙම නැත්නම් we are sorted කියන එක. Right. On that note, let's move on to the presentation. So today we are going to talk about our success in the corporate world, right? So I represent the corporate world. I mean, I think most of you all, once you all graduate, unless you go to a government job, you will be stepping into the corporate world. So I think for any graduate, it's very important to understand what this place is like. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment. But when you graduate, it's very important to have that understanding to know that what kind of a place you are stepping into, regardless of your subjects or the streams or whatever the things you have studied at in the university, right? Having said that, now let's move on to see what we have to discuss today. So I've named my session slightly differently to the topic we initially had. So I thought I'll talk about succeeding in the corporate world, of course, but from where it has been to where it's going right now. So the things have changed, of course, and things are changing. So let's discuss about where it was and how things used to be, and then let's look at how things are right now, and then let's end on how things will be and how we can prepare for that. Right? Do I make sense? Can I get a yes from the students? Anyone? මම කියන එක follow කරනවානේ? පැහැදිලිනේ? Any
Yes, sir.
questions?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. All right. So going forward, if you all have any questions, just stop me at any time and question. So again, before we start, I have one more request for you all. Now, usually I don't know how Navin's session went, and I don't know how the next sessions will be, but this session specifically, I want you all to do what you all see on the screen, right? මේ screen එකේ පේන්න තියෙන දේ කරන්න ඕනේ. What do you all think he is doing? Anyone? Screen එකේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සු මොනා කරනවා වගේද පේන්නේ?
Like he's thinking about something.
He is thinking about something. Excellent. Who is it? Can I have a name?
Shimali.
That's sorry.
I'm Shashimali.
Hello.
Hello.
Shashimali. Thanks, Shashimali. Right. So yes, as you said, this person seemed to be thinking about something, right? So my only request during this session, this might come across, I mean, what I'm going to say, මම මේ කියන්න යන ටික might come to you as a shocker or a surprise sometimes, right? මම මේ කියන ටික පොඩ්ඩක් අපිට digest කරන්න අමාරු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට ගන්න එහෙම නැත්නම් තේරුම් ගන්න, එහෙමත් නැත්නම් තේරුම් ගන්නටත් වඩා ඒක පිළිගන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක තමයි reality කියන එකට මුහුණ දෙන්න අපිට චුට්ටක් අමාරු වෙයි. Even I was like that when I was a student or when I stepped into the corporate career, it was like this for me. So the only thing or the main thing that I want you all to do during this session is I want you all to think, right? Listen to what I say, take your time. If you all have any questions, clarifications, or even arguments, mama කියන එකට එකඟ වෙන්න බැරි නම් හරි, anything, anytime, just stop me, take your time to understand it, and then move forward, right? I'm talking to everyone who's here. I do see 298 people on the participants list. So each and every one of you, it's okay that we have a large crowd, but if you all have any questions anytime, just stop me and question me. Are we good to go? Right, I'll take it as a yes. Now, having said that, I want you all to start off with some small activity, right? So this is going to be a two-way conversation. I'll ask you a lot of questions. I'll tell you all to do a lot of things, and I'll need responses for us to go forward and complete this session. Because see, I'm not a professor or a doctor or anyone like that. I'm just sharing my experience and the little knowledge I have. So to make this successful, it's critical and crucial that you all also contribute and tell me what you all feel, right? මට හිතන දේවල් මේ කියන දේවල් එක්ක ඔයාලගේ පැත්තෙන් හිතන දේවල් මට කියන එක ඇත්තටම ගොඩක් වැදගත්, so that අපිට එතකොට දැනගන්න පුළුවන් අපේ discussion එකක් විදියට මේක ඉස්සරහට අරන් යන විදිහ ගැන. I hope I make sense, bro. To start with, as you all see on the slide, just note down 3 things that you all are planning to do after you graduate, and I'll need answers in 2 minutes. All right, think about it and tell me. ඔයාලා දැන් graduate වුණාට පස්සේ දැන් first year ඉන්න අය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, last year ඉන්න අය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, no problem. uh, I mean, whichever the stage you are in your university career, university life, that's fine. To tell me what are your plans once you graduate. Graduate උනාට පස්සේ එහෙම නැත්නම් degree එක අතට ගත්තට පස්සේ what are your ඔයාලා මොනවද කරන්න යන්නේ කියන එක ගැන විනාඩි දෙකක් අරන් හොඳට හිතලා මට answers ටිකක් ඕනේ. So I'll give you all 2 minutes from now. Okay, anyone ready to give me an answer? It's an easy question. හිතන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. තමන්ගේ plans ගැන මම අහන්නේ. What do you all have to do? What are you all planning to do after you graduate? Can I have 1 or 2 answers maybe to start with? Anyone? හිතෙන ඕන දෙයක් කියන්න, ඕන language එක ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ, සිංහල English. Tamil unfortunately කතා කරන්න හැකියාවක් නැහැ මට, not that I'm proud of it, but yes. Anyone who wants to go?
Okay, so I'll go first.
Excellent. Yes.
I want to get a job, and also I like
Right.
to do public speaking, and I hope to
Nice.
market myself as a brand.
Sorry, I couldn't follow the last one.
Hope to market myself as a brand.
Hope
Yes,
to
as a
market
brand
yourself
name.
as a brand. Very good. Excellent. Can I know your name, please?
I'm Malmi Dias.
Aruni, is it?
Malmi.
Malmi Dias. Excellent. Thank you, Malmi. I think very insightful answer. තව කවුරු හරි ඉන්නවද අපිට answers දෙන්න කැමති? මොනවාද degree එක ඉවරනාම මම කරන්නේ? Now Malmi wants to do a job. Malmi wants to create a brand of herself. Anything else? Anyone else?
Sir,
Yes.
first of all, I would like to do my studies further and to
Okay.
go out and to find job.
Right. So you want to study further. I assume it's a master's or a PhD, is it?
Yeah, it's a master's.
Master's, and then you're planning to find a job. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. Very good. Very good. Who else? Anyone else? වෙන මුකුත් නැද්ද? The boys have been very silent. I was told the majority is boys, right, Ramindu?
Sir,
Yes, there you go.
after finishing my BA degree, I will follow a HR manager course, and my future ambition is to be a HR manager one day.
Fantastic. So, okay, you want to do HR. What's your name?
Balasuriya.
Balasuriya. Right, Balasuriya. Okay, so you want to do an HR course and then move into HR, be an HR manager eventually. Very good. Who else? See, I'm not only asking about your jobs. Keep that in mind. I want to know what you all are planning to do once you all complete your degrees. Simple as that. It could be anything. I want to buy a vehicle. Yes, someone wanted to speak, is it?
Actually, I want to get a job, and after that, I want to I hope to make a smart house for me.
You want to make a smart house for you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Can you explain? What do you mean by a smart house?
Actually, this situation, uh, we want to uh, improve. We want to improve our knowledge, IT knowledge, and
Yes.
world worldwide world knowledge, and therefore, in
Right.
future, in future, definitely we want to technology. Then I want to make
Right.
a smart house.
Smart house.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Right. So your idea is very innovative. I think you want to uh, think out of the box and create something called a smart house using technology. Right? Right, Chanuka. Thanks. Anyone else? I'm waiting for one answer. මම එක උත්තරයක් එනකම් බලන් ඉන්නේ. No one seems to want to do that.
Sir,
Yes.
um, I think my path is something different because
Right.
I want to learn. I want to learn the interesting parts that I like
Mhm.
photography, interior designing courses, likewise.
Right.
So that after that, I want to start a business, and also I think if it is good to give at least 10 jobs to other people in a village
Very
or
good.
in a town.
Very good. So you want to do your own business and then give jobs to other people, maybe your community or people at your village or someone. But the intention is to give jobs to other people, right? Very good, Ravi Hari. Excellent. Right. What else? Anyone who wants to do something different?
Sir, I would like to live freely, and
You want
I
to
am
do
planning to, yeah, freely live. First
nice.
of
Okay.
all, we have to live.
Right.
We have only one life, so we should live freely. Uh,
Okay.
and I have planned to maintain orphanage for dogs.
Right. So you're
Be
passionate
happy.
about dogs and
Yeah,
their well-being. Nice. Excellent. What else?
that's it.
That's it. So you want to live freely, most importantly. I think very good answer. That's what we all want to do, whatever I mean, regardless of what we do as a career. Right. What else, guys?
So,
Yes. Nihinsa, is it?
yes, my answer will be
Yeah.
little bit different from others because I know you, sir, you also not expecting this kind of answer, but I just want to work as a pizza chef or because that's my dream job.
You want to work as a pizza chef. Chef, is it?
Yeah, yes.
Excellent. Very nice. I think, yes, different answer, but yes, definitely. Why not? Right. Who else? Okay,
Sir,
I think we have about. Yes. Who is this?
uh, first of all, I will
Vandi. Yes.
have to find a job, and
Right.
then I hope to focus on the future path on the relevant job. That means going through the same job to the top. Then I'd like to
Mm-hmm.
do anything that makes me happy, uh, like traveling and being happy, and I will do many things to be happy and live peacefully.
Excellent. So your plan is, I think, smart. You want to start a job, then progress in that to the top, and then live happily. Am I correct?
Yes, sure.
Nice. Very good. Who else? I want some different answers. So everyone's talking about the job, everyone is talking about the businesses they want to do, public speaking. They are saying, what about personal life? No one wants to get married, is it?
Sir, hello.
Yes, Dulhan.
Yeah, I want to study further, and
Right,
and I want to get a job, and also I want to
right.
marry the man I love.
Oh, fantastic. Very brave answer. There you go, guys. So one person needs to get married. Excellent. Right. And what about the guys? None of you all want to get married, and none of you all want to buy a car, a bike, a vehicle of your own. Maybe you all already have it, but something better. No one. Okay. Just two more answers I need, then we can go ahead. Just tell me, two more people. What do you all want to do? It could be anything. No one else?
Sir,
Right. That's fine. Let's go ahead. Yes. Yes, Nishadi.
sir, I plan to get a job, what I'm interested in, and
Right.
also I would like to start my own business during doing my job.
Right. So while you're doing your job, you want to do your own business as well.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So do you have a business in mind? Do you want know what you want to do?
Uh, like party arranging.
Oh, excellent. So event management.
Yeah.
That's a very good business to tell you all. I mean, I have a friend who's doing it, a young girl like you all. She's doing really well. She's not doing any other job. She has her own company, small scale company, which is into event management. And trust me, she's doing really well. Right. Good stuff, Nishadi. Anyone else?
My plan is to find a job, and after some time I want to migrate.
You want to migrate, is it?
Yes, yes, sir.
Very good. Okay, excellent. Right. Anyone else, guys, before we move on?
Sir, I want to
Yes.
travel, and also at the same time, I want to help my parents to lessen their burdens that they are carrying now.
Very good answer. I think all of us want to do that. Take care of your parents, right? Yes. You want to earn, travel, at the same time, you want to take care of your parents. Very good. Right. Okay, so we have a lot of interesting answers. Different people want to do different things, everything that matters, but different kinds of answers I received. Right. So there's one thing about everything you all said, right? Most of you all spoke about your careers, the jobs you all want to do, the businesses you all wanted to start, maybe other kind of dreams you all have, right? Fair enough. We can do whatever we want. That's why we are adults, and we have the freedom to do. However, there's just one thing, right? So sometimes when we again, with the education we've received and the sort of upbringing we have had since our childhoods, uh, often we are told that when you get a job, your life is sorted, right? So අපේ ගම්වල ඉස්සර අම්මලා නැන්දලා එහෙම කියන්නේ මොකද මගේ පුතා හොඳට ඉගෙනගෙන ડોක්ටර් කෙනෙක් වුණා එහෙම නැත්නම් ඉංජිනේර කෙනෙක් වුණා. So now we are එයාගේ ජීවිතය හදාගෙන එයා අපිවත් බලා ගන්නවා. So everything is අපි කියන්නේ happily ever after, right? So we think when we get a job, our life is in the happily ever after stage, right? So let's see if it is really the case, right? So let's move on to the next slide. Now, let me briefly tell you all about, now from this point onwards, I'm going to tell you all a lot about the corporate world and how it used to behave, how it behaves, and how it will behave in the future, right? So if you all have any questions anytime, please do stop me and question me anytime, right? And then, because that's important for us to go forward while understanding what we have to understand, right? So let's look at the corporate world that we used to have a couple of years back. right? So first thing was, we want to be qualified individuals, right? So when you are an employee, or if you are an employee, that meant that you are qualified. Simple things: I am an accountant, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am an HR professional. Then later on, when the computer era started, I am a computer professional. It didn't have anything to do with, languages, computer languages, or programming or anything. Ara ගම්වල ඉස්සර අපේ කියන්නේ මොනවද? මම දන්නේ ඔයාලා සමහරට දන්නවද කියලා. But අපි, when we were growing up, අපිට computers එක කියන ආපු කාලේ ගම්වලට එක එක ආයතන ගම්වලට computer අඳුනලා දීපු කාලේ, ඒ කාලේ අම්මලා සීයලා ආච්චිලා ගම්වල කියන්නේ මොනවද? මගේ පුතාට computer පුළුවන්. ඒක නිසා රස්සාවක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. So knowing how to operate a computer was a qualification itself. But right now we have come a long way from that. We do study languages, we do study different kinds of computer applications. But back then, when we started off, it was only about learning how to operate a computer. So likewise, we had different qualifications that define different occupations, right? So doctor kenek wenawa, engineer kenek wenawa, any other accountant kenek wenawa, any other profession. But the focus was on qualified individuals. So if you are qualified, if you have this or this qualification, you can get a job, and then you're sorted. Then there's something else called specialized job again. Now, if you are a manager in some department or some function, you were expected to do one specific specialized job. Example, if you are a manager in the finance department, your job or the expectations from you was only to maintain the accounts and provide necessary financial information. If you were a manager in the HR department, your job was solely to take care of the employees, manage the personal files, provide the trainings when required, and the basic stuff of HR only. So that is how it used to be, right? Then we have something called a subject matter expertise. So you know something and you know it to the best. If you are an accountant, you know everything about accounting, and you know all the accounting standards and all that, fine. But that was it. You didn't know much about the other subject knowledge, right? Then of course it was, you learn, you get qualified, and then you join a good company or good employer. Then you work there for the rest of your life, right? So honda job එකක් හොයාගත්තා, honda රස්සාවක් හොයාගත්තා, honda company එකට join වුණා. එතනින් පස්සේ ඔයා retire වෙනකම්ම ඒ ආයතනය ඇතුලේ වැඩ කරගෙන හිටියා. So that is how it used to be. Then also, when you join the organization and you work for a couple of years and you show that you are a high performer, after a couple of years you get promoted. So you join as an executive, you perform exceptionally well, and then after maybe 2 or 3 years, or maybe even 5 years back then, you are promoted to a managerial or an assistant managerial level. So just because you perform well in your current job, right, you are taken into the next step, or basically you are promoted. That's how it used to be, right? As I said earlier also. So having a good job, having qualified, and having a good employer or an organization to work for meant that your life was sorted, right? So this is how it used to be maybe during our parents' time. අපේ අම්මලා තාත්තලා වැඩ කරන කාලේ මෙහෙම තමයි, මේ කියන විදිහට තමයි වැඩ කටයුතු උනේ. හොඳට you learn from the beginning, you focus on one specific area, and then you get qualified in that, then you start a job in that area, then after a couple of years you get promoted, then promoted again. Likewise, you progress in your career, and then you retire in the same company, right? So this is what the corporate world was like back then, right? Do I make sense, guys? Any questions on this? Anything you all want to add, or anything you all want to challenge me on? Even though you say this is not how it used to be. Anything you all know? If not, we can move forward. So this is to give you an understanding about how the corporate world used to be, right? Let's move on. Now, when it comes to the current context, things have changed. I wouldn't say slightly changed. In certain cases, it has drastically changed. ලොකුවට වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙනවා අපි මේ discuss කරපු දේවල්. The first thing, in the earlier slide, we spoke about being qualified. If you want to be an accountant, follow a degree in accounting. If you want to be an HR professional, do PQHRM or any other HR degree, right? Then qualified, then get a job, then you're sorted, right? But right now, in the current context, things have changed, right? Just because you are qualified, it doesn't mean that you are successful in your career. You can be qualified, you can get your degree or any other qualification that you have to get, but then you also have to prove that you are capable in your job, right? What do you call it, job එකට අවශ්‍ය basic අධ්‍යාපන සුදුසුකම වගේම ඔයාලා හදාගන්න අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා ඔයාලට ඒකට ඒ job එක මට කරන්න පුළුවන් කියන දේත් පුළුවන් කියන හැකියාවත්. Now this is something as university students we all have to work on a lot, because I also used to be in a government university, so I also have the same experience. Just because you're qualified right now, it doesn't mean that you are guaranteed a job in the corporate sector, right? So you need to prove that you're good enough, because there are so many graduates coming out of the universities in the country, right? So of course being qualified is important, yes, and at the same time show and prove that you are capable. So how we do that, we'll discuss in the coming slides, right? Then in the earlier slide we discussed something about having specialized in some certain any streams that you want to focus on. So if you are an accountant, again you become an expert in accounting, right? If you are an engineer or if you are a electrical engineer, you become an expert in electrical engineering, right? Of course, not a problem, but what will happen is, though, when you proceed further in your careers, you can get a job if you're a good electrical engineer or a good accountant, that is okay. But if you don't have the knowledge about the other areas, such as maybe even for an engineer, a little bit of accounting, a little bit of people management, a little bit of how can I say, management accounting, right? Likewise, different areas are there in a company that you need to have awareness about, right? So if you all don't know about those things, and if you only know that you are an engineer and I only know about an engineering function, of course you can start your career somewhere, but going forward, as someone said, going to the top of your respective career field, you may feel a challenge, you may face a challenge, right? So therefore it's very important that you all become specialized generalists. So what does it mean by a generalist is you need to be a jack of all trades. You need to know, you need to have knowledge about everything, or rather all different areas of businesses in an organization, right? So then we have something called the subject matter. Now in the earlier slide I said it used to be the subject matter that mattered, right? Subject matter එක ගැන knowledge එක තියෙනවා නම්, or engineer කෙනෙක් නම් engineering knowledge එක තියෙනවා නම්, you can become a good engineer, and then your life will be sorted. However, the things have changed by now. Of course you need to have the subject matter expertise, there's no doubt about that. You need to know your subject, you need to know what you're doing, you need to have the relevant theories and all that in your head properly. At the same time though, you need to have exceptional soft skills. You need to be able to go to a place and you need to be able to write a proper email. You need to be able to dress properly and present yourself properly. You need to be able to go to a dinner in a high-end restaurant and have it with the colleagues properly. So likewise, soft skills also matters when it comes to current corporate world or succeeding in it. Any questions until now, guys? මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද මම කියපු මෙච්චර වෙලා කියපු දේවල් ගැන? Right. Then now earlier on, if you have a good employer, හොඳ වැඩ කරන හොඳ company එකක් තියෙනවා නම්, then you're sorted, right? You can just work there until your retirement. But right now things have changed again, right? So of course you need to have a good employer, not a problem there, but at the same time you need to have your employability. You need to be able to be employed. ඒ කියන්නේ job එකක් දෙන්න සහ job එකක තියන් ඉන්න තරම් worth කියන එක ඔයාලා company එකට පෙන්නන්න ඕන. කොයි company එකේ කොච්චර හොඳ company එක වැඩ කරත්. හිතන්න දැන් you all graduate and join an organization as an executive somewhere, right? So you all join an organization because an organization feels that you all are good enough to be an organization in that organization. Do I make sense? ඒ ආයතනයට executive කෙනෙක් විදියට join වෙන්න තරම් දැනුමක් තියෙනවා කියලා තරම් ඔයා qualified කෙනෙක් කියලා හිතන නිසා තමයි ඒ ආයතනය ඔයාට executive කෙනෙක් විදියට job එකක් දීලා ඇතුළට ගන්න. Right? So there's no problem with that. However, going forward, දැන් අවුරුදු 2 3ක් 4ක් 5ක් යද්දී, if you all think that I have been here for so many years now and therefore I need to be a manager here or I need to be an assistant manager here, sadly it doesn't work that way anymore, right? Then when your employability, are you good enough to be an assistant manager in that company? That is something you need to show the company that you work for. If you show it, of course you will be given the opportunity. If not, you will still be an executive even on the day you retire. So of course you need to have a good employer, not a question there, but at the same time you need to be employable as well. So you all are graduate කෙනෙක් වෙන ගමන් අනිත් පැත්තෙන් you all need to develop your other skills, which we'll discuss in the later slides, and say, I can be an assistant manager in this company and I can be a manager in this company. You need to be able to perform at that level and prove it to them. Okay, next step, again very important. Right now, earlier I told you all, if you all had the high performance in the job you all are performing, you all will be promoted and given the designations in the next level. So if you are a high performer in the executive level, you will be given an opportunity to be an assistant manager. Now don't forget the first slide we discussed. I wanted you all to do something continuously, right? When I say a point, every point I am presenting here will have something for you all to think about, right? It's not something, it's not the common usual world that we live in anymore. Things have changed and things have become more challenging, as you all can see. But I want you all to think about each and every point I discuss. Now, what we are discussing right now is very important and very, sometimes even the employees we have here or in the current organizations find it difficult to understand this, right? Think about it very carefully. Now, you are an executive, okay? So you perform at your job in an exceptional level, right? So let's take an example. Say you are a sales executive. Okay, job එක තමයි sales executive කෙනෙක් වෙන එක. එතකොට your job or what you have to do is simply you have to go to the customers and sell a number of units per month. අපි නිකන් we'll take a common example now. If we look at demos, we used to sell a vehicle called Demo Batta. දැකලා තියෙන ගම්වල පාරවල යනවා Demo Batta කියලා වාහනයක් අපි විකුණුවා, right? So demo batta vikunana sales executive kenek nang, your job is to go to villages, go to the small scale business people and then sell the vehicles and achieve the target you have to achieve. So if you are a sales executive, say you have to sell 50 units a month, 50 demo batta vehicles a month. So if you sell that 50 units, or say you sell 75 units a month, and you sell 75 units a month for a period of 2 years. So for the whole 24 months, you have sold 50 units or 75 units each, right? That means you have done your job exceptionally well. Only a 50 per month is expected from you. Think about it very carefully. But you have sold 75 a month continuously, meaning you have done a target achievement of 150%, right? So you are exceptional performance, no doubt about that. So as a sales executive, you do your job to an exceptional level. I hope I made sense, right? If you all don't understand, please stop me and ask me, because this is very important that we understand this. So you are doing your job well, and then maybe the manager decides, right, this guy is a great sales executive and he has worked for a couple of years now with constant performance. So maybe I should give him a promotion. Then what happens is that person will be given a promotion to assistant manager level, right? So when you are an assistant manager, what you have to do as your job is slightly different to what you used to do. right? So as a sales executive, you had to go to the customers and sell the vehicles. But as an assistant manager, what you have to do is you will be given a team of executives who will go to the customers and sell the vehicles, right, guys? So think about it carefully. Your job used to be going out there in the field, going talking to the customers, and selling the vehicles. Now you are given a promotion and you are told to handle the team of executives who will go to the customers and sell the vehicles. මම කියන එක පැහැදිලි නේද, right? So එතකොට it's slightly different to what you used to do. And sometimes it might be, I mean, the necessary skill set, right, to do the new job would be different to what it was earlier. කලින් ජොබ් එක කරගෙන හිටපු ස්කිල් සෙට් එකේම අලුත් ජොබ් එකේ තියෙන ටාස්ක් ටික කරන්න ඔයාලට බැරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? And then we have challenges when it comes to performing at the new job level, right? So that is why we say it's very important to look at something called the potential. The word in red on the last point, we do look at something called potential when it comes to career progression or simply giving promotions. So potential is simply evaluating whether you are ready for the next level, right? So of course you will have a high performance because you are selling 75 units per month, as we discussed, right? But at the same time, can you do the responsibilities of an assistant manager? Will you succeed in that level is something that will be measured and understood in the potential assessments, right? So if you're not good enough to be an assistant manager, of course, when through this assessment, you will, I mean, it will be understood that you can play at that level. So guys, the point I'm trying to make is things have changed, and just because you have high performance, it doesn't mean that you will be able to progress in your career. You can of course be successful in your current job, there's no doubt about that, but you join as an executive, then you become an assistant manager, then a manager. Likewise, progression is not guaranteed just because you have high performance. You need something called potential as well. You need to prove that you can play at the next level as well, right? I hope I'm clear. If you'll have any questions, just unmute and ask me. Right? සරලවම කියනවා නම් what I'm trying to say is job එක හොඳට කරන ගමන් තමන්ට හම්බෙන ටාගට් එක එහෙම නැත්නම් තමන්ට හම්බෙන job එක හොඳින් කරන ගමන්ම මට ඊළඟ level එකේ job එක කරන්න පුළුවන්ද බැරිද කියන එක prove කරන එකත් මම ඊළඟ level එකේ job එක උනත් මට හොඳින් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා level එකකට තමන්ගේ හැකියාවන් showcase කරන එක තමයි මේ potential කියන එකෙන් measure වෙන්නේ. එතකොට එහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඔයාලට career progression එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ job එකේ ඊළඟ levels වලට යන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි එහෙම නැත්නම් high performance වල විතරක් නැවතිලා ඉන්නවා නම් එතනින් ඉස්සරහට යන්නේ නැතුව then we have a problem. ඔයාගේ job එක successfully කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයාලට අවශ්‍ය bonuses එහෙම නැත්නම් increments ඒ job level එකට අදාළව හම්බෙයි, කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. නමුත් එතනින් උඩට progression එක කරන්න ලොකු හැකියාවක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ potential කියන එක හදාගත්තේ නැත්නම්. Right? I hope I'm clear. If you'll have any questions, just ask me anytime. Right. So having said that, the last point. Now earlier I said, if you will have a good employer and if you are qualified, your life will be sorted and you'll be in the status of happily ever after. Right now, what will happen is if you are qualified and if you will find a proper job at a proper place, the foundation to your future, the foundation to your happily ever after will be done. Right? It doesn't mean that you will be happily ever after. Think about it very carefully and understand what I'm trying to say, right? If you are qualified and if you'll have a proper job at a proper place, of course, your basis is done. Your foundation is set. ඔයාලගේ මූලික පදනම වැටලා ඉවරයි හොඳ ගමනකට, හොඳ career, හොඳ වෘත්තිමය ජීවිතයකට. However, it doesn't guarantee that your life or the career is in the happily ever after stage. එතනින් ඉස්සරහට යන දේවල් ඔක්කොම බොහොම හොඳ තත්යක තියෙයි කියන එක කොයිම වෙලාවකවත් ඒකෙන් guarantee කරන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So that is the new reality we are living in right now. I mean, this can be challenging. Maybe this is not what you all want to hear. Unfortunately, this is what I have to say if I'm trying to do the justice for you all and the corporate world. Right. Having said that, let's move on to how it will be. Right now, things are still changing. Those are constantly changing, and you know, these are not at a constant or a static stage. They'll change constantly. Digin digata මේ කතා කරන වෙලාවෙත් අපේ මේ කියන trends වෙනස් වෙනවා. Right? So the best example is what you see on the screen. Right? So 10 years or 12 years back, or පරණ සිංහල ෆිල්ම්ස් වල තියෙන මොනවද එයා උඩ ඉඳලා ගහන shots you all will remember. So helicopter එක නැගලා cameraman කෙනෙක් උඩ ගිහිල්ලා තමයි මේ shots ඔක්කොම ගන්න. But right now how does it work? You all will know this better than me, right? You all are the high tech people, the new generation. So helicopter pilot ගේ job එකයි cameraman ගේ job එකයි දෙකම පොළවේ ඉන්න එක මිනිස්සෙක්ගෙන් replace වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ දෙන්නගෙම job නැති වෙලා තියෙනවා. පොළවේ ඉන්න එක මිනිස්සෙක්ගෙන් මේ කියන jobs දෙකම replace වෙලා තියෙනවා. I'm sure you all have seen this on Facebook as well, right? So this is where the world is going, right? Do I make sense, guys? Things are changing constantly. Now imagine this camera guy for an example. Back in the day, I'm sure he was very happy with his job, right? I mean, especially if he is doing risky jobs like this. As you can see, it's risky, right? මෙහෙම උඩ නැගලා මෙහෙම record කරන එක risk එකක්. යා හරියට safety harnesses දාලා නැත්නම් හරි මොන හරි පොඩි දෙයක් වුණොත් ඔයා අතනින් කෙලින්ම පහළට වැටෙන්න පුළුවන්. So it's a high risky job, right? So therefore, I'm sure he was paid very well and even more than an average camera guy, right? So then, if you think about it from his perspective back then, do you think he had any concerns about his life or his career? I think he didn't, right? So simply because he knew or he thought his life is sorted. He's getting paid well, he's shooting films, he's working with maybe celebrities, he knows people, so maybe he thought his life is sorted, right? But unfortunately, just to say, after 10 years, he doesn't even his job is also not existent anymore. Do I make sense? Right? So this is this is the same case with corporates or companies as well. If the company also doesn't change going forward and doesn't adapt to the time, same thing will happen to the companies as well. So I'll give you a couple of examples going forward also. So I think the point I'm trying to make is clear. Things are constantly changing, and you might at this point you might not even think that your job is being challenged, or you might think that you are sorted or you are very happy at your current state or stage. But take it from me, things are changing, and you will not know what comes next and which of the jobs will be obsolete. මොන jobs මෙතනින් ඉස්සරහට යද්දි නැති වෙන්නේ කියන එක අපිට හිතා ගන්න බෑ. Right? Let's move forward. So let's discuss about how it will be. Now, අපි බැලුවා how it used to be, the past, how it is right now, and now we are going to look at how it will be in the future. When I say future, I mean in the near future. Maybe when you all graduate, things will be like this, right? So we discussed about having qualifications. We discussed how important it used to be. Right now, it's a little different. We of course need qualifications, but we need individuals who are capable with qualifications. So the priority goes to capability or the capacity, right? So being able to do the job is primary, and of course you need to have the qualification which comes secondary. So the hard reality, guys, is I'm telling this as one of you all, right? So as a graduate of a local university, the reality, guys, is just because we graduate from a local uni or any uni for that matter, there's no job guaranteed anywhere in this country or even the world, right? We need to prove and show that we are capable, right? So that is the reality of the future. So you need to be capable individuals, of course, with the relevant qualifications, right? Then again, the second point will largely remain the same, but you need to be generalists. Just because you are an HR guy, you can't tell that you will, I don't know anything about accounts. You can't say that anymore. If you are an accountant, you can't say I don't know how to manage people, or I don't know how to pay ETF, EPF. You need to know that as well, right? Likewise, you need to know simple things about each and every job function. So if you're into marketing, you can't say, I don't know how accounting works or how accounting standards work. You need to know it. I mean, of course, as I said earlier also, you might be able to get an entry level job, true. But going forward, when you become a manager or a senior manager or a CEO or a chairman of a company, of course, you need to know a little bit of everything to succeed. So specialized generalists is something that is crucial. Then we discussed about subject matter expertise, right? So we said we need subject matter and also we need soft skills, right? So in the current context, in the earlier slide we discussed, we said subject matter and the soft skills are also equally important, right? However, now things are going to change further, right? We need people who can talk, who can present themselves, who can put a point across, right? Who can have a discussion, who can construct an argument. Likewise, we need people with soft skills, right? So the priority, unfortunately or fortunately, will be shifted to the softer part of it, right? So you need to have the soft skills while being a subject matter expert, right? So soft skills tika අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා තැනකට ගිහිල්ලා කතා කරන්න, ඉන්ටර්විව් එකක් ෆේස් කරන්න, එහෙම නැත්නම් කෙනෙක්ව කන්වින්ස් කරන්න. ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලට අපේ soft skills අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා, but having the relevant subject matter expertise. But what I'm trying to say, guys, is unfortunately or fortunately, having the subject matter expertise alone will not sort it out for anyone anymore, right? So මම මගේ කොළඹ යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ ඩිග්‍රී එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා මම ඒක අරගෙන එළියට ගිහිල්ලා ඒ ඩිග්‍රී එකෙන් විතරක් මගේ ජොබ් එක ඉස්සරහට කරන්න හැදුවට it is not going to work that way. You need to show that you are employable and you have the relevant other skills, so necessary other skills that you want to succeed in a corporate career. Right. I hope I make sense and you all are following what I'm trying to say rather. If you all have any questions, මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න පුළුවන් මේ වෙලාවේ before we move on. This is the time for you all to challenge me, ask me anything you all have, basically I don't know if you will agree with me or not, but I'm trying to sort of show you all the real picture as opposed to what even I believed as an undergraduate of a university, right? So it's very important that we understand why these things are happening, right? And why I'm trying to tell you all these things, right? It's sometimes some of you all, I don't know, may find it a little difficult to absorb this. Make a product පිළිගන්න අමාරු වෙයි. මොකද mama personally, if I'm to tell you about myself, I thought my life will be sorted when I get my degree. So if anyone comes to me and challenge me back then, I would have had a lot of questions for him. So that's why I'm telling you all. If you all have any questions or if you all want to challenge me on what I'm trying to tell you all, please do feel free to do it. It's very important that you all understand this in order to proceed and progress in your careers. Okay, any questions, guys? So anything you all said at the beginning of the session as your dreams or plans after the graduation, I hope those are still there. So anything else you want to clarify before we move on? All right, so then let's move on to the next point. Yes, employability. I think I covered this as well, but let me explain again. So while being qualified, it's important that you show that you can do a job, right? Of course, you will have the paper qualification. You will show that you are a graduate, which is respected in the corporate sector, trust me, which is accepted and respected, because I know this because I work at DMOs. Still, guys, I'll tell this because it's a local government university audience that's right here. Still, to date, when we receive a CV for a job, there'll be a better chance for a candidate from a local or a government university, because I know, we know you guys have the necessary knowledge, right? So don't doubt yourselves about that. You all are great in your academics. Even if you get through the degree at a minimum level, we do believe that you all are great. So there's no doubt about that, and I'm not at all saying it's not important. It is important. It's crucial that you all have it, right? Having said that, though, at the same time, you all need to prove that you all are employable, right? මට මේ ජොබ් එක දුන්නම් මම මේක හොඳටම කරන්න පුළුවන් කෙනෙක් කියන එක ඔයාලා ප්‍රූව් කරන්න ඕනේ ඉන්ටර්විව් එකේදී සහ ඒ recruitment step එකේදී. අන්න ඒක තමයි මේ employability කියලා කියන්නේ. Right? So it's very important that you walk into an interview and show that you are employable. So then actually it doesn't really matter. Now if you remember in the earlier slides we discussed something about good employers. Remember, having a good employer who will take care of their employees, right guys? But now going forward or in the future, things have changed or things are changing rather, to a point where the employer doesn't really matter. That's the reality, right? So having a good or a bad employer, I'm talking about taking care of the employees, right? I'm not talking about the business practices. Of course, when it comes to business practices, you need to find an ethical organization. That's not what I'm trying to say, right? But if you are an employable candidate, it doesn't matter really what organization you're going to work for, because the moment you show that you are employable and you're capable, you will be given the opportunity, right? And you will be taken to the next level, right? So that's what I'm trying to say here. Regardless of the type of employer you have or you will have in the future, in the near future, your employability will decide your career progression. So job එකක උඩට යන්න එහෙම නැත්නම් හොඳ දේවල් කරගෙන හොඳ පොසිෂන් එකකට එන්න අර කිව්වාගේ ඒ අදාළ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකේ උඩම ලෙවල් එකට යන්න නම් මේ employability කියන එක වැදගත්, right? So employability will change. Now you will, I mean, to get a job you need to be employable at an executive level or an entry level, right? Then to be an assistant manager or a manager, you need to be employable at the manager level, right? Then to proceed further and then become a senior manager, you need to be employable at a senior manager level. Likewise, what I'm trying to say, guys, is you need to be employable and it needs to change constantly and continuously, right? It doesn't mean that, right, mama දැන් assistant manager ඒක නිසා මගේ මම දැන් හොඳට assistant manager කෙනෙක් විදිහට employable වෙලා ඉන්නවා, that's enough කියලා I can't stop there. I need to constantly work on my employability and developing myself to a manager level, and my manager will have to constantly work and develop his or her skills to a senior manager level. Likewise, guys, what I'm trying to say is the employability is something you need to work constantly on, right? That's employability. Then of course, high performance and potential, as I discussed in the earlier slide as well, that's required. Of course, you do the job to an exceptional level, not a problem there. That is understandable and expected. Having said that, it's very important that you show your potential as well. Show that you can be an assistant manager. You are manager material. Show that to the organization, right? Take on added responsibilities. Take on the team responsibilities. Take care of the team members, right? Likewise, always try to perform at the next level. Then it's very easy and faster for you to move into the next level, right? The last one is very important. I think you all see the last point, right? So agility is the new happily ever after status. So what do you mean by agility, right? So agility means the things are changing constantly, right? අපි මේ දැන් ඊයේ කතා කරපු දෙයක් අද වෙද්දී ඒ විදිහට තියෙන්නේ නැහැ, right? So ඒක හොඳම example එක මම අද උදේ බැංකුවකට ගිහිල්ලා වැඩක් කරගන්න හිටියා නම් දැන් ඒක යන්න බෑ. ඒ වගේ එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි අර බුද්ධාගමේ බුද්ධ ධර්මයේ කියන වගේ හැමදේම වෙනස් වෙනවා, right? අනිත්‍යයි හැම අපි කතා කරන මේ කතා කරන දේ ඊළඟ මොහොතේ වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? So agility is this simply මේ වෙනස් වීමට ඇති හැකියාව තමයි agility කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට when බාහිර පරිසරය වෙනස් වෙනකොට අපි ඒකට අනුගත වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒ වෙලාවට ඒ අවශ්‍ය වෙලාවට then we are behind, right? So that is why being agile is very important. So your new happily ever after status, අපි දැන් මුලින් slides වල දිගටම past එකේ ඉඳන් අද වෙනකන් අපි කතා කරා about something called the happily ever after status. අපි අර මොනවාද සුරංගනා කතා ඉවර වෙන්නේ මොනවාද දෙන්න got married and then they lived happily ever after ඒ වගේ එයාලගේ මොනවාද දිග එතනින් ඉස්සරහට ඒ පොයින්ට් එකෙන් ඉස්සරහට දිගටම ජීවිතේ සතුටින් ගත කරා කියන එක එකෙන් කියන්නේ so ඒ වගේ පොයින්ට් එකක් ගැන අපි කලින් අවස්ථා දෙකේම කතා කරා ඉස්සර නම් හොඳ ජොබ් එකක් තිබ්බ කියන්නේ happily ever after දැන් තියෙන තත්ත්වය අනුව එක වෙනස් වෙලා තියෙනවා going forward though so මේ happily ever after කියන status එක define වෙන්නේ based on how agile you are අලුතෙන් එන changes වලට අලුතෙන් එන වෙනස් වීම වලට if you are willing to change and adapt then of course that is the foundation for your happily ever after status so මෙහෙම හිතන්නකෝ I'll give you a practical example I don't know if this is relevant but now I think you all of you all can relate to this now when covid lockdowns hit in initially all the lectures didn't happen right even we didn't go to work right but then after some time we realized that this is going to continue for a while maybe for a couple of years so therefore we need to come up with alternatives right so therefore I'm sure your lecture panel the faculty decided to conduct classes online right so then do you all remember the first online lecture you all attended during the lockdown was it as easy as going to a physical lecture can someone tell me
No, sir, not at all.
not at all right because it was very challenging sometimes then especially given these days unfortunately given the reception levels of the service providers we have in the country අපිට සමහරවිට ගසුඩ ඉන්න වෙනවා සිග්නල් හොයන්න. එහෙම ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි එහෙම වෙන දේවල් මම හිතන්නේ Facebook එකේ තෝරන තරම් ෂෙයා වෙනවා ඔයාලා දකින්න. But see it was challenging at the beginning, right? But then it was important that we understand that it was a new reality. Because see, just because a lockdown or a pandemic hit us, if we can postpone our life in maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe we can wait. But the reality is the life won't be postponed, right? අපිට දීලා තියෙන අවුරුදු ටික හැම තප්පරේම it's ticking, right? So I mean it's for up to us to figure out a way to get our work done, right? So that is why being agile is very important, right? So initially you all may have had challenges, arguments, back කියලා හිතෙන්නේ නැති online classes කරන්න බෑ කියලා හිතෙන්නේ නැති practically අමාරු වෙන්නේ නැති even the lecturers I'm sure they would have faced a lot of challenges, right? But then now to this date you all are conducting online lectures and I'm sure the challenges have eased off. I'm not saying it's perfect at the moment but I'm sure the situation is better than how it was when you all started the online lecture. So everything else also guys is something like that. So being agile is simply having that mindset to be ready to change constantly, right? So ඒ වෙනස් වීමට ඔළුව හදාගෙන තිබ්බම අන්නේ ඒ mentality එක තමයි soon in the near future අපි මේ කියන happily ever after status එක වෙන්නේ. දැන් එතකොට හිතන්නකෝ දැන් අද කියනවා අපි හෙට ඉඳන් online classes පටන් ගන්නවා. So if you are willing to change and adapt, will it be a challenge for you mentally? No, because you will do whatever that's required to get it done and you will just sit and do it, right? But if it is a challenge for you, I mean if you're not at that mental level, then think about it. මොනවද යද්ද මේ මට මේක දැන් කරගන්න මට සිග්නල් උත් නැහැ මට එක්කෝ මාමලක් ගෙදර යන්න ඕනේ මේ සිග්නල් එන තැනකට අල්ලගන්න එහෙම නැත්නම් ගහකට යන්න ඕනේ එහෙම නැත්නම් even in my office there are people who go to his or her uncle's place for an online meeting, trust me. So it's not something to be embarrassed about. It's about it. I mean it's a situation of the country we live in, but we have to face those challenges, right? So ඒක නිසා කොයි වෙලාවකත් මේ mentality එකේ ඉන්නවා නම් හැම වෙලේම it's very easy for you all to face the new challenges, right? So that is why I'm saying agility is the new happily ever after status, right? So do I make sense, guys? Anyone who wants to share their feedback so far? Because from this point onwards it's going to change a little bit more, because we've discussed about how it used to be, how it is, and how it's going to be. The next part of the presentation will tell you all about what you all need to do from your end to prepare yourselves for the future, right? So I hope I make sense. If you have any any questions? Yes, anyone? Questions? Right, so that's okay. Let's go ahead. So, yeah, now what? So I have come here and told you all basically things are going to change, things are going to be more challenging, and what we've learned is not enough. We need to learn more, and we need to learn constantly. Told you all so many things. So now, what do? I'm sure, even though you all don't say it, some of you all at least will have this question in your minds, right? So don't worry, this is very easy, and you can take it from me because I've been in the same phase of life, right? I've been a graduate of a local university, as I told you all. I have had my ups and downs in the uni life. I have had friends like you all. I have had යුනිවර්සිටි ලයිෆ් එකේ තියෙන ඔක්කොම challenges සහ සාමාන්‍ය දේවල් බොහොම හොඳට අත්දැකීමෙන් දන්න කෙනෙක්. So that's why I'm telling you all, don't worry about anything I said because you all can get it done, right? But it's important that you all do get it done too. ඒක ලේසි කියලා හරි ඒක කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හරි නොකර ඉන්න එපා. ඒක ගැන වැඩ කරන්න අද ඉඳලම පටන් ගන්න because it's important. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලගේ ඩිග්‍රී එක කරගන්නවා වගේම මෙන්න මේ මම මෙතනින් ඉස්සරහට කරන්න කියලා කියන ටික කරගන්න එකත් important. Simply because it will improve your employability, and you will be able to present yourself as a better candidate, and also you will be able to proceed or progress in your careers faster, right? Okay, so let's move forward. First thing, as I said, there's no better time than now, right? So අපිට හොඳ වැඩක් කරන්න, හොඳ දෙයක් කරන්න, අලුත් දෙයක් කරන්න පටන් ගන්න හොඳම වෙලාව තමයි දැන්. Right, so මේ lesson එක මේ discussion එක යන අතරෙම මේ කියන ටික ඔලුවට දාගන්න කරන්න ඕන ටික plan කරගන්න, then you all will be sorted and just start working towards it, right? So now is the time guys, let's see what we can do. The first thing I said, right, we always discussed about qualifications and capabilities, the balance, right? So the qualifications I'm not worried about. You all will have enough and more support from the faculty and your colleagues and your seniors, so you all will be able to graduate and fulfill your qualification. Not a problem. There are සාමාන්‍ය යුනිවර්සිටි එකේ කාවත් එම් වැටෙන්න දෙන්නේ නැහනේ. එකතු වෙලා කරන් යනවනේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් හොඳ යාළුවෝ ටිකක් හොයාගන්න, පාඩම් කරන යාළුවෝ ටිකක් හොයාගන්න. Get through it. Don't even worry about it, but get your qualification done. But at the same time, think about your capabilities as well. Now think about what you want to do in life. Now one of you all told me that you want to be a HR manager. Very good. So now he knows what he wants to be in life. Likewise, plan your careers now itself. At least decide on the stream that you all are going to work in. Now study කරේ මේක කියලා ඒකම යන්න ඕන කියලා එකක් නැහැ. I take myself as the best example I know because I studied physical science, right? So my subjects were statistics, physics, and applied mathematics. But right now I'm into HR. So it doesn't have to be right what you studied in the university. Only thing that needs to happen is that you need to know what you need to do, and you need to be passionate about it. So what කරන්න ඕනේ මොකක්ද කියන එක first of all you figure it out now itself, right? You can of course change later on, during the uni life, that's fine, but figure out a plan, decide what you want to do, and then from that point onwards just work towards it and build the capabilities required, right? So then if you are a professional in a corporate career, you will need to know about different things, like you'll have to multitask, you'll have to organize yourself, you'll have to manage your time, you'll have to be a good writer. Even if you drop an email, it needs to be perfect, right? You need to be a good speaker, you need to be a good presenter, you need to be able to convince others, right? Likewise, there are different capabilities that are required for a corporate professional. So think about those, study those, and simply start working towards bettering yourself, right? So there are enough and more. If you want to be a better public speaker, there are forums like Toastmasters, or even for the universities there are gavel clubs and things like that. So work on those, join those, take the maximum advantage of those platforms, right? And then at the same time just search on YouTube about what is required to be a better professional. I will not go into detail because that was not the objective of this small session. I wanted to show you all how it goes, how it is, and how it's going to change. So that I think I've done. But make sure that you all work, right? And develop your skills and capabilities. Because guys, if you move into the corporate world, I'm sure, I'm telling you all, no matter wherever you all go, you all will have to multitask. You all will have to manage your times. You all will have to manage your people. You all will have to be good with numbers. So all of those things are a must in a corporate life, right? So work on those, right? Do you all have a Gavel club or a Toastmasters club? Gavel, I think. Anyone? Gavel club එකක් හරි Toastmasters club එකක් හරි තියෙනවද university එකේ? I'll need an answer, guys. Yes, or no would do. Okay, you would know. Ravindu? Right. Right. Right, not in yours. So I think that's one of the key things that you all can look at implementing, because it's very useful to join a gravel or a Toastmasters club, and it's proven to give results. Basically, you know, you local students, I mean, even I had problems when it comes to talking to people initially, right? Any one of us will have, and of course English is not our mother tongue, right? So ඉංග්‍රීසි බැරි වෙනවා කියන එක කොයිම වෙලාවකවත් කාටවත් එක ලැජ්ජ වෙන කාරණාවක්වත් නෙමෙයි. මොකද ඉංග්‍රීසි බෑ කියන අපිට වෙන භාෂාවක් පුළුවන් කියන එක. ඕනම ඉංග්‍රීසි බැරි කෙනෙක්ගේ කතාව ඒකයි. Right? So එතකොට, but the key thing is ඉංග්‍රීසි බෑ කියලා it's not something to be proud about or something that you should not work on, right? So it's very important that you understand that you have that gap first of all, and then you work on improving it, right? So then a Gavel club or a Toastmasters club is a very easy fix for that, because it will guarantee and it's proven to give results, right, guys? So just maybe talk to your colleagues in the management faculty and see how they did it, and start a Gavel club. I mean, I think one of you all wanted to be a public speaker, so maybe you can take the initiative, do that. And guys, trust me, join it. Initially it will be awkward, right? You need to go in front of a set of people and talk to them about different topics. You will be like, what is this? Why am I doing this? Trust me, you will feel that way. But hang in there and just do it. It will give you results, guaranteed, right? So that's number one. Then learn to be a jack of all trades, right? So this is again very important, right? Jack of all trades කියලා කියන්නේ you need to know a little bit of everything කියලා කියන්නේ. අපි කතා කරන හැම දෙයක්ම ගැන relate කරන්න පුළුවන් පොඩි දෙයක් හරි දැනගන්න. දැන් accounting discussion එකක් යනවා නම් මම accounts person කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි නම් you should be able to contribute. So know the basics, right? Double entry එකක් ගැන එහෙම නැත්නම් accounting standard එකක් ගැන මම දන්නෙත් නෑ මහ ලොකු දෙයක්, but you know your basics, learn your basics. Then know about, you know, maybe other streams as well. Maybe HR එකක් නම් HR එකේ කොහොමද වැඩ වෙන්නේ, employee කෙනෙක්ව recruit කරන කොහොමද process එක. Likewise, learn those on yourselves, right? Because guys, no university will give you these information. I mean, you can't expect it also. It's not the job of a university, right? Job university එකෙන් කරන්නේ ඔයාලගේ qualification එකට අවශ්‍ය දැනුම හදලා දෙන එක විතරයි. So whatever that they are doing in addition is bonus for you all, and they are doing it because they genuinely care about you all, right? So even this session and the sessions that they planned for you all is simply because of that, right? So take that advantage and be a jack of all trades. මොනවා කතා කරත් you need to be able to give a solid valuable input. නිකන් මේ ඒක ගැන මොන හරි මමත් මේක දන්නවා කියලා මෙහෙමයි කියන එක නෙමෙයි. නමුත් ඒ කතා කරන conversation එකකට contribute කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ value added විදියට. දැන් හිතන්නකෝ you all wanted to progress in your careers, so let's say some of you all, I'm sure most of you all will, but some of you all get through to boards of organizations, නිකන් director level එකට ගියා කියලා හිතන්න. So then that board of directors will take every decision in the organization, right? So business එක වෙන්නේ කොහොමද, මොනවද අපි කරන්නේ, මොනවද නවත්තන්නේ, මොනවද ගෙන්නන්නේ, එහෙම නැත්නම් කොයි වගේ අලුත් businesses වලටද අපි යන්නේ, recruitment freeze කරනවද, අලුත් මිනිස්සු ගන්නවද, ඔය ඔක්කොම decided at the board level, right guys? So then at the board level, you can't say I am the HR guy, no. So I don't know about this. You will discuss and decide what's best for the organization. You can't say that, guys. Regardless of your stream or the position or where you come from, you are expected to give your contribution, right? So it's very important that you give that. So එකයි මම කියන්නේ අර ඒ level එකට යනකොට you all need to know and you all need to be a jack of all trades. හැම පැත්තෙම පොඩි දෙයක් හරි අවශ්‍ය basics හැම පැත්තෙම ඉගෙන ගන්න. Right. So that's about being a jack of all trades. Right. Then we discussed about soft skills. Right. So we discussed about qualifications and then how the soft skills came into the picture. Now, going forward, guys, as I said in the earlier slide also, unfortunately or fortunately, the soft skills have become to be a critical component of a employee's career. Say you are an excellent engineer, right? You know your job extremely well. You can do, circuits or whatever that's required to be a great engineer to the best level. But what if you can't go and present that plan or the board to a set of individuals? Do you think you will be able to be successful? Unfortunately, I don't think so, right? So while having the subject knowledge is crucial and important, it's equally or sometimes even more important that you all have the necessary soft skills to develop, right? So being able to go and talk to a person, being able to present yourself, being able to do a presentation, being able to put up do a couple of slides and present it, and most importantly, being able to convince another party to what you have to say, being able to negotiate, right? All of those things are crucial and critical for a successful professional, right? So that's what I'm saying. Soft skills are equally or even sometimes more important to have when it comes to being a great professional, right? So I hope you understood the importance of it. And also, simple things like, following dining etiquette. How do you then තැනකට ගිහින් ගෑරුපුද පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? මගේ දකුණු පැත්තේ තියෙන වීදුරුව මොකද්ද? මගේ වතුර වීදුරුව එන්නේ දකුණෙන්ද වමෙන්ද? මම මේක බීලා ඒක බොන්නේ අනිත් මිනිස්සයාගේ එකද? ඒ වගේ it's very important that we know those tiny things, right? Sometimes those are even more important than the subject knowledge, because your clients or customers or whoever the other party is will simply measure you all based on those little things. තැනකට ගිහිල්ලා හරියට පාවිච්චි කරලා කන්න දන්නේ නැත්නම්, හරි හැන්ද කරන් කන්න දන්නේ නැත්නම්, එහෙම නැත්නම් හරි විදියට වාඩි වෙන්න දන්නේ නැත්නම්, හරි විදියට ෂේක් හෑන්ඩ් එකක් දෙන්න දන්නේ නැත්නම්, right? එතකොට it affects their impression on you, right? Then of course it will affect whatever the business deals that you are trying to do with each other. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying rather having the professional skills or the subject matter is important, no doubt there. At the same time though, it is very important that you all develop the soft skills that are required to be a professional, right? So don't worry about those. Just go on YouTube, search Sinhaleng, English වලින් ඕන language එකකින් ඕන තරම් guide කරන්න පුළුවන් videos තියෙනවා. So don't worry about it, but just it's very important, as I said earlier also, it is very, very important, guys, that you all start working on those, right? And again, it's not something to be shy about or ashamed of, right? Simply because, I don't know, maybe you all have people who use cutlery at home. I don't. මගේ ගෙදර මම කන්නේ අති. So hotel එකකට හරි 5 star තැනකට හරි ගිහිල්ලා හැන්දක් හරි ගෑරුප්පු හරි පිහිය හරි අදාළ එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න දන්නේ නැති එක මට ලැජ්ජ වෙන කාරණයක් නෙමෙයි. Are you all following me? But it doesn't mean that I need to be proud about not knowing it also, right? Because eventually the reality is, whether we like it or not, you will be judged based on that. අපි වැඩ කරන්න යන පාටි එක හරි අනිත් පාර්ශවය අපිව මෙෂර් කරනවා, එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි ගැන විනිශ්චයක් ගන්නවා අපි කරන දේවල් වලින්, අපි හැසිරෙන විදිහෙන්. So that is why it's important that you showcase those skills, right? It's not about following Western culture or being able to eat or drink like a Suddha or whatever. It's not the case, right? it's about having that skill set so that you will impress the relevant and required people to get what's required for you done. I hope I make sense, guys. Right? So then the next point, fourth point actually. One of you all said this also at the beginning itself. You wanted to be your brand, right? So when you say Bharatiya Jayawardena, who's Bharatiya Jayawardena? Right? What's your brand? What are you known for? How do people perceive you as, right? Likewise, guys. So no matter which profession you are in, you need to know what kind of a brand you're creating around yourself, right? So ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා ගැන තියෙන perception එක ඔයාගේ නම කිව්වම මොන වගේ මතයක්ද තියෙන්නේ ඔයාගේ නම කිව්වම කට්ටිය right මෙයා නම් this is a top notch guy මෙයාව අපි ගන්න ඕනේ කියන level එකේ ඔයා ඉන්නවා කියන එක ගැන හොඳ අදහසක් තියාගන්න සහ ඒක develop කරගන්න. ඒක develop කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එකත් මම කියන්නම්. Now there are different examples. Now can you tell me who knows Michael Schumacher? Michael Schumacher දන්න කට්ටිය මට පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න බලන්න. Anyone? Anyone who has heard of Michael Schumacher? Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you about any. I'm ask you any follow-up questions. මට ඕනේ දැනගන්න දන්නවද නැද්ද? Okay, so I'll take it as a no. Dilantha Malagamu?
Yes, sir.
You're saying yes to Dilantha Malagamu, is it?
Yes,
right,
sir.
so fantastic. So you all know Dilantha Malagamu, but maybe not Michael Schumacher. Right. Guys, the thing is, oh yeah, there you go, Patum. Excellent. You should have told me that. German racing driver. Right. Michael Schumacher danna tinnawa. Dilantha Malagamu danna tinnawa. But I can't do this right here, right now. But if I take a count of people who will know Michael Schumacher and Dilantha Malagamu, I'm sure you all will know more about Dilantha Malagamu, or more people will know about Dilantha Malagamu, right? But guys, the thing is, both of them are into the same profession at different scales for sure, but same profession, right? Both of them are racing drivers. They දෙන්නම කරන්නේ professionally වෘත්තිමය වශයෙන් car race පදින එක. Right? එතකොට, and of course Michael Schumacher is at a different level than Malagamu. Realistically, right? He's leading there, up there in the boards, right? Even then, when it comes to this crowd we have right here, අපි කට්ටිය ගත්තම we know Malagamu better, right? Is it because he's from Sri Lanka? You all will say yes, but I beg to differ, guys. It's not only because he's from Sri Lanka. I'm sure most of you all follow Malagamu on Facebook, right? So think about remind and see what they post, right? The kind of things he posts on Facebook, what he did, and the support he received from certain people, and the support he gave certain schools, right? Likewise, he constantly posts on Facebook and updates his followers about what he's up to, right? Whereas Michael Schumacher, of course, he also does, but not up to the same level. He just maybe updates about his races and what's upcoming and what are the status of their races and all that he will do, but not as Malagamu, right? So then what happens, guys, is when Dilantha Malagamu posts or updates his followers, based on what he or she updates, the followers create a perception about him. Dilantha Malagamu මෙන්න මේ වගේ මිනිස්සෙක්. එයා මේ වගේ උදව් කරලා තියෙනවා මෙයාලට. එයාට මෙන්න මේ government එකෙන් මෙහෙම උදව් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේ so many things people will think about him, and as a result there'll be a perception created about him around him, right? So that's why it's very important that you create that brand about you. දැන් Malagamu කියපු ගමන් අපිට මම දන්නේ නැහැ ඔයාලා දන්නවද කියලා අපිට සාමාන්‍ය ශ්‍රී ලාංකික ඔය සෝෂල් මීඩියා පාවිච්චි කරන අයගේ ඔළුවට එන දේ තමයි very down to earth පාරේ බහලා යන හැමෝම එකම හිනාලා කතා කරන මිනිස්සෙක්, right? So that is the brand he has created for himself. And no matter wherever he goes, in his car he always says, thanks to humble Sri Lankans or something. Likewise, හැම වෙලේම ලංකාවේ අයට thank කරපු පොඩි line එකක් එයාගේ කාර් එකේ කොයි ලෝකේ කියන්නේ ලෝකේ කොහේ race එකක් වැද්දත් he has that line printed on the car. So likewise, he's maintaining that brand around himself, right? So that's what I'm talking about here, guys. Maybe not up to that level, at that level or at that scale when you begin, but guys, start working in your brands, right? It doesn't, I mean, you don't need to be a professional. uh, Talk about different things that you face in the university. Maybe talk about this session or the next sessions. uh, Create your personal brand on social media. It's very important, right? Be a contributor to social media content. Write whatever you all want. It could be any language, Sinhala, English, or භාෂාවකින් ලියන්න. තමන් passionate දේවල් ගැන ලියන්න කතා කරන්න පටන් ගන්න. So then that will help you to build your own brand, right? So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to being your own brand, right? Then we talk about the next point. Develop your potential, right? So we spoke about potential. This is simply about playing at the next level, right? ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් අපි ඉන්න එකට වඩා එතනින් උඩ level එකක play කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක ගැන තමයි මේකෙදි කතා කරන්නේ. So simply guys, I'll tell you all how to work on your potential. I touched upon this earlier also, but always think about what your next level is like. If you are an executive, think about having a team under yourself, right? Think about managing a team. Think about training a team. Think about the other challenges you all will have. If you're going to be a department head, think about managing a budget. Think about running a P&L, a profit and loss account, right? Likewise, almost always focus about the next level. What would my next level do? And try to do what they say, what they would do rather, right? So always try to pitch at the next level and behave that way. Then it will be very easy for you to be recognized as a person who is at the next level, and then actually to perform at that level when you get to that level also, right guys? So I hope I have made it clear when it comes to what is required in developing your potential. Then most importantly, this is, I mean, if you all forget everything I've told for the past almost 1.5 years and take away one key thing, guys, I want you all to take this home, right? Be willing to change, because as I told you, as our religions say, nothing is going to be constant. Things are going to change constantly. කොයිම වෙලාවකවත් අපි මේ කියන දේවල් හැමතිස්සෙම තියෙන්නේ නැහැ ඒ විදිහට, right? So it's very very important that you all change and you all are willing to change and adapt to change, because it's then very easy for you all to succeed in your careers, right guys? So being willing to change is the key takeaway I want you all to take from this session, if you all want to forget everything and take one thing home, right? Finally, of course, don't stop. Be willing to change and be open to change. At the same time, never ever stop learning, right? So when you graduate, some of you all said you all want to do your higher studies, and at the same time, some of you all said you want to start your jobs, careers. Regardless of what you do, guys, it's very important that you all learn, and there's no age limit. Right now, I think this is the classic example that I give to anyone wherever I go and do a session. දැන් අපි හිතනවා සමහරලාට අවුරුදු 60 70 පරිණිනකොට නෙමෙයි අවුරුදු 40 විතර වෙද්දී අපේ කට්ටිය හිතන්න ගන්නවා, right? අපේ කාලේ දැන් ඉවරයි. You know, දැන් ඉතින් අලුතෙන් දෙයක් මොකුත් ඉගෙන ගන්න බෑ. You know, it's the time of the next generation now, so maybe might as well just retire ourselves with the little knowledge we have කියලා එතනින් නවතිනා ඉන්නවා. Guys, don't ever do that. I'm not only talking about formal education, I'm talking about education and learning in general. YouTube video එකක් බලන එක හරි, එහෙම නැත්නම් YouTube video එකක් මම මේ කියන්නේ වැදගත් important දේවල් නැත්නම් අද හවස ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා නිකන් මොකක් හරි joke channel එකක් බලන ගමන් කියන්න එපා අද session එකේ YouTube videos බලන්න කිව්වා කියලා. That's not the point I'm trying to make, right guys? learning anything that's important for you all. It could be a YouTube video, LinkedIn article, anything simply, right? So that's learning. It's not only about formal education I'm talking, right? So guys, that does not stop. That should not stop. Learning happens until the day you die. That's the reality. The classic example I take for any session, as I said, is හැමෝම දන්නවා මම හිතන්නේ මට වඩා හොඳට ඔය පැත්තේ අය දන්නවා අපේ බලංගොඩ ආනන්ද මෛත්‍රී හාමුදුරුවෝ අපේ හාමුදුරුවෝ කම්පියුටර් ඉගෙන ගන්න පටන් ගන්නේ අවුරුදු 93 දී. උන්වහන්සේට අවුරුදු 93ක් සම්පූර්ණ වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි උන්වහන්සේ කම්පියුටර් ඉගෙන ගන්න පටන් ගන්න. ඉතින් එතකොට අවුරුදු 93ක් වෙද්දී අපි මොනවාක් අපි හිතියොත් අපි මොනවා කරයිද? අපි ජීවිතේට අලුත් දෙයක් ඉගෙන ගන්න පටන් ගන්නේද කියන ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙනවා. So it's never too late guys. Right? It's never too late. Never ever think about stopping, because the moment you stop learning, the world will bypass you and take over. Right? එතකොට අලුතෙන් එන ජෙනරේෂන් එක වට වඩා දෙයක් දන්නවා. දැන් තව ක්ලාසික් එක්සැම්පල් එකක් තමයි ඉස්සර දැන් ඔය කම්පියුටර්ස් ආපු කාලේ. කම්පියුටර් දන්නවා කියන එකම ඇති ජොබ් එකක් ගන්න. right? ඒක කම්පියුටර් අපේ පුතාට කම්පියුටර් පුළුවන් කියලා මම අර ඉස්සර කිව්වේ ඒ වගේ කම්පියුටර් පුළුවන් වුණු ගමන් ඒක මොකක් හරි ජොබ් එකක් ගන්න සුසුකමක් වෙනවා. But right now guys, who cannot operate a computer, right? අවුරුදු දෙකේ තුනේ ළමයිනුත් කම්පියුටර් පාවිච්චි කරනවා. So it's a necessary skill for anyone. සමහරලාට දැන් මේ දවස්වල ස්කෝලේ යනවත් බෑ කම්පියුටර් බෑනවා. ඔන්ලයින් පන්තියකට සහභාගී වෙන්න බෑ. So that's why I'm saying it's very important. ඒ වගේ දැන් කම්පියුටර් යනකොට එහෙම අලුත් දේවල් ඒක දැන් අලුත් දෙයක් වෙලා තිබ්බනේ මහ ලොකු දෙයක්. ඒ වගේ දැන් දැනටත් අලුතෙන් එන මොන හරි දේවල් ඉස්සරහට ඉගෙන ගන්න නැතුව ඉන්න එක ඔප්ෂන් එකක් නෙමෙයි. මොකද ඒවත් අපි තව අවුරුදු 5ක් 10ක් යනකොට ඒවත් බේසික් knowledge එක බවට පත් වෙනවා. So it's very important that you all learn constantly and continuously, because stopping learning is not an option, right? Take it very serious. You can do your formal education, masters, PhDs, go ahead and do it, please do it. But ඒක කරේ නැතත් මේ constant learning කියන එක අතාරින්න එපා. YouTube video එකක් බලන්න, එහෙම නැත්නම් article එකක් කියවන්න, ඕන තරම් free sources තියෙනවානේ දැන් අපිට internet එකේ. Do those when එක කියන්නේ films හරි මොනවා හරි බලන වෙලාවට වඩා ඒ වෙලාව මේකට යොමු කරන්න. Learn about something guys. There's so much you can take from the internet. Take those and constantly update yourselves, because the moment you stop that, trust me, the world will take over. Right? All right. So that's all I had to say from my end. I think we are almost done with the time also. Guys, if you all have any questions, you all can ask. I mean, I'm happy to stay back. No hurry. If you all have any questions, please go ahead and ask. I hope I made sense and I was able to give a clear message to you all. Anything you all want to clarify before we wind up, guys?
අපේ ශිෂ්‍ය ශිෂ්‍යාවන්ට ප්‍රශ්න ඇති ගොඩක් අහන්න වාතිය උත්තර දෙයි. ඒකින්ද අන්මියුට් කරලා මයික් එක අහන්න කිසිම කෙනෙක් එහෙම ලැජ්ජ වෙන්න එපා. තමන්ට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න ගැටලු निराකරණය කරගන්න.
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම. ඒක වෙලාව ප්‍රශ්නකුත් නැහැ. ඕන වෙලාවක් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. කියන්න මොනවා හරි ක්ලැරිෆයි කරන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ කියපු දේවල් මොනවාම හරි මේක මෙහෙම නෙමෙයි වාතියවා කිව්වට මේක මෙහෙම නෙමෙයි වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා හිතනවා නම් please feel free to challenge me. එතකොට අපිට හොඳ conversation එකක් build up කරලා එතනින් හොඳ outcome එකකට එන්න පුළුවන්. No questions, guys? Anyone? ඕන ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න. කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. එහෙම නැත්නම් yes, උපුල්ලි. Yeah, උපුල්ලි. Hello.
හොඳයි. ඇත්තටම ළමයි මම හිතන්නේ තාත් අපේ දරුවෝ අහන්න.
wanted to know whether hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Upuli, we can
So
hear you. Go ahead.
okay. So I wanted to know whether films are really bad because I have a doubt because when we are watching films, sometimes like language films or something, we can learn the language, and from films also sometimes we are getting some experiences that we haven't experienced yet. We can get some experience from films as well. So I guess watching. Good films are not bad, I guess so, but I wanted to know because now with this pandemic situation and we are just like sometimes online lectures are going on, and for a change I think it's good, but I don't know whether it's good because I agree with your point, like continuously working and learning, that's good, but sometimes people are just with a competitive world, we are learning, and we are getting some stuff, and we are sticking to some certificates, and like they are thinking like when we are dying, we have to collect those certificates and we have to die. Likewise, people are collecting. So I don't know. It's just like then we are not free in our minds as well. But learning is not bad. Each and every time we are learning, but it has when the learning comes, people are thinking like learning is it's like only theoretical, and I don't know what's the case with film, but I wanted to know that. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Excellent question, Upuli. I think very, very good question, guys. I think the problem lies in the definition of learning that you and I follow, right? Let me clarify. Now, I mean, anyone who is in formal education, including myself when I was in the uni back then, right? Anyone who is in the process of formal education, learning for you all mostly will be formal education. So as you said, maybe collecting a certificate, maybe completing a degree or a diploma or a higher masters or something. But when it comes to learning in the corporate world and elsewhere, and especially what I mean by learning is constant learning through anything, Mupudi, right? So of course what you said about films is true, right? So films will have a lot of things that can teach you. Now example, during the last lockdown, I don't know if you'll have watched this, I watched a TV series called Suits. It's about a set of lawyers who are fighting on different set of cases on a daily basis, right? Highly corporate TV series. But yes, I watched it. I think it had about 9 seasons. Invested a lot of time in it, but of course, learned so much out of it, right? So there's no doubt about that. Films will offer you a lot to learn. But the problem, Upuli, is you will need to know what to take and what not to take. Example, again, I'll give you. Um, I'll talk about the same TV series, right? Now, it talks a lot about law, basically commercial law, right? So there are so many law points that they discuss, argue. There are so many cases that they win and lose and all that, right? So then, and it's very convincing, right? So because of course those are lawyers and they put it in a way that it's so convincing. So then the problem, however, is if I am too enthusiastic and I think I'm learning a lot and take away those low points that they are throwing at each other, all of those are in I'm sorry to use this word, but all of those points that they're throwing at each other are bullshit, simply put, right? They don't make sense, right? So then what I'm trying to say, Upuli and everyone, is you need to know what to take away and what not to take away. That's a very tough balance to do. So of course films or TV series or even novels and books, anything we come across in life, right, will have something for you all to learn for sure. But some of those things will have things that you should not take away, and having that right balance and what figuring out what to take away and what not to take away will be a challenge sometimes for some of you all. Do I make sense, right? So that's why I'm saying films is not at all a bad thing, and of course your objective is to relax and focus your mind on something else, please go ahead, watch it, but don't get into the habit of learning from here films, even language for that matter. Now let's take another example. Now if you are to learn language, films is a great way to improve your spoken English, no doubt there, right? I mean, even the lecturers right here will agree with me, and the students who are speaking English will follow me and agree with me. It will help you improve your spoken English for sure. But just imagine if you watch a film, say, okay, let's imagine that you can't utter a word in English, you don't know any English, spoken English at all, right? And then, with the objective of learning English, you watch a movie which is about, say, underworld or terrorists, or any not so formal setting. Then what will happen is, what you will grasp from that movie as language is what is described or expressed there as language, right? So then there will be informal terms, of course, films, of course, what do you call them, not so respectful terms. Likewise, you will take out a lot of things that are not accepted, maybe not accepted in the formal professional corporate settings. So then, of course, you can't, I mean, we can't expect you to know it because you will not know the language, simply put, right? So then again, you will face a challenge when it comes to what to take out and what not to take out from a movie. So that's what I'm saying. Movies and films and TV series are a great way to learn, but please make sure that you know what to learn and what not to learn from those. Apart from that, I have nothing against movies. I also watch movies, as I said, and TV series, but be very careful about what to take away and what not to take away. And one more clarification on what you said, Upuli. Now you said learning is a continuous process, and till the day you die, you learn, right? And of course, I agree with you when it comes to collecting certificates. There's no point, right? Don't do it. Just get your degree done, follow your proper formal education to master's or PhD level, do it. But just don't do education just for the sake of collecting certificates. That's not the objective. That is not how it should be. Because having papers or qualifications is almost becoming obsolete to have a job. It's not even relevant and required anymore in certain jobs. As long as you show that you can do the job, you're sorted. However, having that knowledge and updating it constantly will play a key role, and that is required, and that unfortunately or fortunately you will have to do until the day you die. What I'm trying to say is, don't see it as a stressful thing. Now in the formal education system, even in the school and university, I know it's very I mean, it's very stressful, and I used to hate exams. Even to date, I don't like taking exams. That's me. So I can understand someone seeing learning as a cumbersome or a stressful process, right? So I'm not against that. I can see that, I can relate to it. But what I'm trying to say, Upuli, is don't think about learning in general as a stressful purpose. Then it's going to be very difficult for you to constantly learn, because the reality is, whether you and I decide and discuss and decide whatever, uh, the reality and the corporate world right now is driven on constant new learning. So the things we example, I mean, Ravindu can relate to this. He was with us for a couple of years. So if you look at the performance management system at my current organization, we have not followed the same mechanism for any continuous 2 years. It has always changed. So when I joined 3 years back, it was one method. Then after 1 year, we changed to another, and in the next year, we changed to another. If you take the training and development programs we conduct and how we do them, it has changed. So what I'm trying to say is, just because you learned something and stop there, it's not going to be easy for you all, or it's not going to sort out things for you all. Now example, now classic example, one more I can give you is, now if you are a doctor, right? Now maybe Upuli can challenge me. even though Bhatia says this, if you are a doctor and if you complete your education, then you are a doctor for life. You won't face a problem, right? In a Sri Lankan context, I agree with you. I have to agree with you because that's how the system works here. But if you look at a country like USA, even if you are a medical professional or a medical practitioner, your license will be updated every 5 years or so. I'm not sure about the time period, but you need to face an exam and show that you have the current most knowledge to practice as a doctor, to be able to practice as a doctor. Right. So likewise, guys, it's a continuous process. So the best thing is to do is to get out of that mentality of seeing learning as a cumbersome and stressful process, right? Because it's, for one, it's not, and it can't be, because we have to face the reality. So don't think about learning as a very stressful or a difficult thing. I'm not talking about exams, right, guys? No one is forcing you to take exams in informal education. I'm only talking about updating your knowledge. So you will have to do it, and therefore for that you have to learn, right? I hope I answered Dupuli's question.
Yes, thank you, sir.
No problem, Dupuli. Any other questions, guys? Very good. Any other questions? වෙන මොනවා හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් ඕන එකක් අහන්න. අපි මේක හරියටම ක්ලැරිෆයි කරගෙන මෙතනින් යන එක very important. Right. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ session එක. Thank you very much again for the faculty. මේ opportunity එක මට දුන්නට I'm very grateful. And I hope you all took something from this session, and I hope it will help your careers and your lives as well. I wish you all the very best, because I believe අපේ local universities වලට යන අය තමයි the reality is, guys, that is the cream of the cream. Local uni එකට ඇතුළත් වෙන්නේ මොන field එකෙන් ගියත් ලංකාවේ ඉන්න දක්ෂම ළමයි ටික තමයි එතනට යන්නේ, right? මේක මම කියන්නේ local uni හිටපු කෙනෙක් විදිහට නෙමෙයි. මේක මම කියන්නේ professionally corporate world එකේ මගේ තියෙන experience එකත් එක්ක දැකපු කෙනෙක් විදිහට විතරයි, right? So එතකොට ඒ cream of the cream හරියට develop කරලා හරියට mold එකකට දාලා අර එළියට ගන්න එක මම හිතන්නේ අපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් හොඳම දේ. මොකද ඔයාලගේ අනාගතය වගේම රටේ අනාගතය වෙනුයි. So that's why I say it's very important that we do this right. And I know for a fact that you all can succeed in whatever you all do. कोई පැත්තට ගියත් තමන්ගේ ජීවිතේ higher studies වලට ගියත් you all will succeed without a problem. එහෙම නැත්නම් corporate world එකට ආවත් එතනත් you all will succeed, because you all have what it takes to be a successful person in life. So do that, break all the boundaries, and then take this country to the next level. That is the best thing you can do for this country in return. Thank you, guys. Thank you, and all the best.
Excuse me, sir.
Hasini, yes.
If I have time, I would like to ask a question.
Yes, of course. I am fine if the organizers are okay. Ashani, maybe?
Yes, please go ahead, Hasini.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So before I came to Sabaragam University of Sri Lanka, I was studying in KDU, since I had no idea that I would be selected to a local university. And the problem I see now is that local universities are in a delay. Like we have gone backwards like an year due to this pandemic situation, and the
Right.
job opportunities that we get as local university students is now they have come to a talk like that it's decreasing, while the students from the private universities they get really good opportunities from private companies or whatever, because they have some things developed than the students who are studying in local universities. Is there is there any truth in this statement?
Like I'm really worried about this because usually local university students spend more like 5 years for their education. Like in private universities, they exactly end their course duration in the correct time period.
Right. Thank you for the question, Hasini. I think even though most of you all didn't ask this, I'm sure you all have this. Good that you all have it. If not, please have this question because this is very relevant. And yeah, answer to your question, should we be worried? Don't worry. Is it a yes or no? It's both yes and no, right? Let me explain. Guys, now, as I said, the truth and the reality is uh, the students who come to the local universities are the best brains in the country, right? They have proven that in the A-level examination, and that is why they are there. So the point to start with is understanding and realizing that you guys are the best, right? That's number one. However, as Hasini said, there's a valid point. Now, when it comes to what do you call it, a private sector university graduate, they come out faster, right? And at the end of the day, they'll have the same qualification, in the sense they'll have a BSc or a BEng, right? So then how do you all as government university graduates make sure that you all are not at a disadvantage? Here's the thing, right? Guys, now we can look at this in multiple ways. Number one, you said you all are losing time, right? You all are not conducting lectures, or even though you all are conducting, there'll be delays and you all will not be graduated, right? So I'm sure that also means that you all will have time at hand to learn other things, right? So everything I discussed in the presentation so far always spoke about one thing: updating yourself and developing your skills. So do that, guys, right? Spend the time that you have at hand again to develop your soft skills. Learn how to speak to a forum, public speaking. Learn how to introduce yourself. Learn how to do a negotiation. Learn how to go and eat at a proper restaurant. All of those things, trust me, you don't need to spend a cent except for the internet charges, right? You can do all that and then develop yourself and equip yourself with the skills that are complementary to the skill set that you are taking from the degree. Are you following me? So then by the end of 5 years or 4 years or whatever, we will have a candidate stepping into the job market who is an all-rounder, right? While having the necessary knowledge required to do a job, he or she will also have their soft skills and the other necessary knowledge to be a better professional. Because whatever said and done, there's so much you can teach a person in 3 years or 4 years or whatever that private university is time period, right? So that is why it's very important, first of all, you use that what do you call it, extra time you have to develop yourself from the other areas. That's something you can do. Number two, now you asked me whether you all are at a disadvantage compared to the private university students. uh, there is a trend to prefer in certain job roles, right? Prefer private university graduates simply because nothing else, guys, right? Not the knowledge levels, for sure, I can guarantee this, but simply because some of them present themselves in a very matured level, they might get a better chance. Again, this doesn't mean that it's a general thing, right? Doesn't mean that all the private university students are given a preference. Not the case, guys, right? But some of them present themselves at a very mature level, and therefore they show that they can do the job, right? So if that happens, because see, we give a job to a person based on an interview and maybe sometimes a test. So everything will depend on what you bring to the table on that interview. The interview එකේ present කරන විදියට කතා කරන විදියට තමයි ඔයාව measure වෙන්නේ. So එතකොට එතනදී හරියට තමන්ව present කරන්න පුළුවන් කෙනෙක් එනවා නම් ඇත්ත knowledge එකක් තියෙන කෙනෙකුට වඩා එයාට advantage එකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. That's a problem with the system unfortunately. But again, even that will be addressed if you take this additional time you have and work on constantly developing yourself. Right, Hasini? So don't worry about it. Any of y'all එක බය වෙන්න කාරණාවක් නෙමෙයි. මොකද corporate world එකම දන්නවා the local universities has the cream of the cream. It's just a matter of preparing you all a little better to match to the corporate world. ඒක කරන්න මම අර කියපු ටික කරගන්න. එතකොට it's and also have the attitude to work, guys. Sometimes, some of the times, I mean, the reality, I can share this with you all, guys, right? I have seen because the local graduates think just because they graduate from a local university, they need to be taken care of very well. That's not the case, right? I'm being very open and honest with you all because I believe you all deserve that respect. Just because you come into an organization from a local university, once you join an organization, guys, you are just an employee there. You need to prove and make your work your way up, right? So you need to be humble. You need to be able to do anything that comes your way to show that you are capable, right? In my case, mama, when I started my career, I was still in the university though, but even then photocopy ගහන්නත් එළියට යන්න උනත් I took the paper and went out. I never had any questions about it because I wanted to be humble and get the work done for the team and the organization. So come into an organization with that mindset, guys, right? So have that attitude of working and getting the things done for the team and the organization. Once you prove that in your initial years, it will be very easy for you all to progress further and show that you are corporate ready material. Right, Hasini? I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much because sometimes I used to regret so much in vain. Aparade mama. Oh, I used to regret a lot.
Right, don't worry about it. එහෙම කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Local unis are accepted better than the other ones, so do it well, and there are many more opportunities for you all. Even overseas බැලුවත් ඕන තරම් තියෙනවා. So don't worry about it, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Right, guys, any other questions? If not, I think we can end the session. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Some of you all have already sent me requests, which is great. So feel free. And if you all have any other questions, reach out to me and talk to me. I'll be very happy to help, guys. Right. All right, then. Thank you very much. I think Ashani, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Bhatia. It was a very interesting session, I must say. And I also feel like now almost all the lecturers that we meet throughout these 4 or 5 years, like we don't come from a corporate background, we are from an academic background, so it's very difficult for us to sort of get into the inside story. So that's why we try our best to bring someone from the corporate sector when we do activities like this. So I think you hit the nail on the head and you sort of covered everything almost, and sort of you having the same background as your audience today, I think it helped you to connect with them as well. So thank you very much. I would like to thank you on behalf of the faculty as well as the organizing committee, and we hope that you stay with us and continue to work with us in the future as well.
Of course, thank you very much again for the opportunity, and of course I'd be glad to work with you all anytime. Ravindu or any one of you all can let me know. Right, all the best to everyone then.
Thank you, and thank you to my dear students as well as the organizing committee, and hopefully we'll meet tomorrow with a new session. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhatia.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.